Good evening, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, and I am live tonight with a quick card creation for you. I'm going to be using the Celebrate the Miracle stamp set. Hanukkah just started on Sunday and goes for another few days, so I thought it'd be a great time to use this stamp set of mine. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and we'll get started. So this stamp set has been around for a little while. I've made quite a few cards with it and had a little series, a little card class with it last year, I think. But I just thought it would be a great time. We've been talking about Hanukkah at school as well with some of our students. So yeah, I'm going to use the sketch challenge that was our Coast to Coast Creators sketch challenge as well this week. I created a card earlier. And it was such a fun layout that I would like to create a few more cards using it. So I'm going to set this to the side and we will get started. So I'm actually just kind of winging it tonight. It was a late night at work. But what I've got here is a piece of Secret C cardstock. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to burnish that a bit. There we go. So there's our card base in Secret C. And I am going to take this piece of Peaceful Garden Designer Series paper and I'm going to glue this down to my Secret C card base. So here we go. Got that. And I love my liquid glue, so that's what I'm using to adhere this. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining. All right, so we're going to glue that down. I think Secret C is my new favorite color. Love it so much. All right, and then I've got two other pieces of paper from the Secret C, from the Peaceful Gardens Designer Series pack. And I'm actually just going to take these two pieces and overlap them and glue them down there to my card front. So this is kind of the basics of the card sketch. And then from here, we're going to add a circle with our image and our sentiment. So these are just getting glued straight down. Nothing fancy here. So I am going to try and center that top to bottom. And then we'll take this piece and glue it down. And so really the size of DSP that you use for these strips does not matter. These were literally 2 scraps and I just used them at the size that they're at. This one looks like it's about 1.5 by 4.5 and this was probably like 3/4 by 3.5. But really it doesn't matter. Oh, Kim, I know, wasn't it a great layout? So I'm just really enjoying stamping with this. Now, normally I would pre-cut my circle, but I'm actually not sure what size of a circle I'm going to need because I want to put a menorah on the front of this card. So what I've done here is I've just grabbed a piece of basic white, and actually I should make sure that this fits inside my mini machine because I took my big machine to, oh, it does not fit. Okay, let's cut that so that it does. I took my big machine to school today to do some crafting with my students, and I forgot to bring it home. So there we go. That's cut down to 3.5, so it fits in my machine now. So whatever we stamp is going to have to fit in 3.5 inches, and we'll go from there. So my hope is that when we put the menorah together and like move the flames and the candles towards the actual menorah, it's all going to fit in this space and we'll be able to die cut that. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, we'll have to move to plan B. So let's grab our menorah. And I do love this set because the menorah, the candles, and the flames are all each their own stamp. And so, of course, you don't have to worry too much about lining up each individual candle. They're meant to line up with the menorah. So that part's pretty awesome. And then same when we go to do our flames, they're all already in line. So it's pretty awesome. All right, now I am running out of blocks. That should fit on a small one, yeah. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, they had such a great time, Kim. We were doing dry embossing today, and that was something that just like most people, the first time you see it, they were just in awe. They're like, it does what? And I had about 6 different options for them, so they were really excited. All right. So I think because I want our flames to be the part that's kind of like fancy and embossed, I'm going to do our menorah actually in Secret C. So there we go. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous Secret C. All right. And then I'm going to add my candles. And I'm not sure if I want them in Misty Moonlight or... Let's see what it looks like in Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp these in Misty Moonlight. And hope that somebody gets the door. I just heard somebody knock. All right, so I love this because I can come in here and line it all up and stamp it. So just like that. Now, I am looking at that, though, and thinking that that looks just a tad bit too dark. So let's see. I'm going to do a quick little check with some other colors here. And maybe we'll go with a balmy blue or an azure afternoon. All right, let's just give this a try. All right, there we go. I'm just going to see. So I think the balmy blue actually will be a nicer, oh, maybe it's too light. I don't know. What do you guys think? I know the colors aren't always great on the screens. Azure afternoon was my first thought, but I'm worried it's going to be too crazy bright. Let's just put an azure afternoon right there and see. So that might be quite bright as well, but I don't know. So I've got azure, balmy, or misty, and so we'll see. We'll see what you guys say. All right. I'll just give that a moment, and then I'm just going to double check what size of circle I can use with this. I'm hoping, oh, it should just fit. So my flames might just get in the way a little bit there, but that should work out beautifully. You're thinking the azure as well? Yeah, that was kind of what I was leaning towards. Okay, so we're going to work over here and redo this, and we're going to do azure flames with the Secret C menorah. There we go. And then we'll jazz it up a little bit by putting some gold embossed flames on here. All right, so there we go. We've got our Secret C, and then we'll use azure afternoon for our blue. There we go. Excellent. Oh, that looks nice. I like that. All right. And now I'm going to wipe this all with our handy little embossing buddy. Because when I do our flames, I don't want my gold powder sticking to everything else. So now I'm going to grab my Versamark and my flames. There we go. And hopefully my head's not in your view. I'm lining that up above all my candles. You guys can't see it because, of course, Versamark is not any color. So let's get our gold powder here, and we'll reveal our flames. There we have it. And so they line up so easily. It's really a treat to use this stamp set. Okay. So we've got that. So now let's heat this up, and then we'll be ready to die cut it with the circle. Beautiful. All right. So we've got that. Now, I have just a circle here from Spotlight on Nature. Kind of liked how it had the little dashes and dots around the outside, and thought that that would look really nice. So we're going to go ahead and die cut that. So let's grab my mini machine and some plates. Here we go. And we're going to pop that on. And let's see. Here we go. Oops, now I don't want to lose the bottom of my circle. There we go. Okay. So that looks pretty centered to me. And we will roll this through. There we go. All right. So move that to the side. There we go. So now this just has a few little pieces that need to be poked out. So you can use the roller brush on your Take Your Pick tool, but I actually tend for stuff like this just to use the pointy tip of my Take Your Pick tool and just pop into each of those and clean it up a bit. There we go. A few more over here. And one more. All right. So let's just move those out of our way. Makes a little bit of a mess. All right. So now we have our circle cut here. This is such a pretty one. All right. And now this piece we're going to be able to put onto our card front just like that. And I am going to attach this with dimensionals. So we're going to flip that over, grab some dimensionals, and just like that, and I'm going to do one in the middle as well. And actually, just because this got a little bit warped with my heat, because I was only heating one section of it, I'm going to put a few extra dimensionals on to help flatten it out. That looks a little crazy. But because I only heated where the flames were, I should have heated up the rest of the paper as well. It kind of warped a little bit. So I'm going to take this piece and pop that on there. Just like that. And then I think we're going to keep going with this azure look. And I'm going to use that for our sentiment on here. So we have lots and lots of options for sentiments. And I think for this one, I might do sending love and light. And then on the inside of the card, I will do Happy Hanukkah. Actually, maybe celebrate the miracle. Let's actually see the length, the real length, because the front images are not full size. So it's always a little deceiving. Celebrate the miracle can go all the way across and is thin enough, whereas sending you love and light is a little bit thicker. Okay, actually no, we're going to go with sending you love and light. Just really like that sentiment. Okay. Hi, Lila. Thanks for joining. All right, so I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to actually clean up my candle so I can use that block. There we go. I can put sending you love and light on there. Put away my candles. And then for this sentiment, I might actually heat emboss this one as well and put it in gold embossing. And so I might actually just stick with this secret C thing I've got going on and do a secret C label across here and heat emboss in gold just to really kind of bring that together and let it pop. We'll see what that looks like. So I'm just going to grab a scrap. Okay, so I grabbed a piece of Secret Sea. So that's one possibility. Or we can make it a bit brighter and do it white on the azure. So I'm actually going to do both, and then we'll see what we like. And we'll trim them down to size and everything. So both of these are going to be heat embossed. One in gold, one in white. So let's clean these up and grab our Versamark. And I'm actually going to do them both at the same time. So there's our sending light, love and light. And again. All right. So now I'm going to pop this one into the white. Do that one more time. Just get a good coat. There we go. And we're going to put our other one into the gold. And then we'll heat them both up. Okay. So I always like having options, trying out different things, and then the extra pieces, I can design another card that will work with pieces that I didn't use. There we go. So this one's a nice width. I'm just going to trim the ends. And this one I'm just going to trim down. And we'll see how big that should be. Okay, so it's less than an inch. We're going to do about 3/4 of an inch. All right. So there you have it. 3/4 of an inch is a good size for that sentiment. And then I am going to trim my ends if I've got a pair of scissors here. Interesting. There we go. All right. And I'm just going to do a nice little angle that matches the angle that the sentiment is on, because it's got a little bit of an angle to it for the script part. Okay. Actually, I feel like that should be trimmed just slightly. Just seems a little bit off. I'm just going to trim it down a tiny bit more. Should probably use a small paper trimmer for that. It's easier to trim tiny portions with the paper trimmer. Except that wasn't straight. Oh no. I might be starting my azure one all over again. Or using my snips. Maybe that's what I'll have to do. All right, let's grab my snips and do this one. Ugh, that is awful. Okay, I might have to redo it if we decide we like it. Should always start with the paper your size that you want. All right, I do like the navy one though. So we can do our navy, sending light and love, all done up in the gold. Or we've got our azure with the white. So I kind of like them both, but I think the double gold embossing I am leaning more towards. So you guys let me know what you think. And while you're letting me know that, I am going to hunt around for my embellishments for this, because I have some gorgeous embellishments to put on this one. Okay. Here we go. Both are great. I know, I do like them both. It's very hard to decide. So the embellishments that I've got here are called Hues of Blue Flowers. And so we've got White, Cloud Cover, Misty Moonlight, and Secret Sea in there. And they're just these beautiful flowers in 2 different sizes. And so that's what we're going to pop on here. And I'm thinking that we are going to go with the Secret Sea ones. So, which is why I'm leaning towards, I think, the Secret Sea sentiment as well, to just kind of keep it all going. So just like that, and put those on, and our little sentiment like that. I know, they both look beautiful, eh? So if we're going to use these embellishments, then we've got the azure. I think it just takes away a little bit from the richness of this card, having the white embossing. I really like it, and I will be using that on another card, but I think I'm going to go with the gold just to keep this kind of like a little bit more elegant. So I'm going to put those flowers in place properly, and then grab some dimensionals. Now, of course, you don't need to use dimensionals for this sentiment. It is already quite a thick card, so if you're going to be mailing it, I wouldn't. I would just glue this down, but I'm not going to be mailing this. I'm going to be hand delivering it. So there we go. And then that is the front of our card all done. And then, of course, we can have some fun kind of jazzing this card up on the inside in our envelope. So for this one, I'm just going to take a piece of basic white for the inside. But before I do that, I'm actually going to grab our stamp set again. And I think I'm going to take the little menorah like in the circle and on my envelope. So I'll grab that. And I think I'm going to do that one in the azure just to really brighten things up. All right, let's see. Get some blocks. Okay, there's a block. All right, so I am going to stamp this on a scrap piece of paper though, just to make sure I want it in azure before I go stamping it right into my card. And then just kind of thinking with that on the inside, and then we've got the Secret Sea border. That's actually going to look really nice. I don't think I'd actually want it in the Secret Sea. Oh, maybe I would. Let's see. Let's try it. I just think it might be a little too dark. But we'll give it a shot. Yeah, it almost looks black when you don't have all the other blues and stuff around. So we're going to do it in the azure on the inside and on our envelope. So on the inside, let's clean this one up first, because I've got Secret Sea ink on it. There we go. That's all cleaned up. We'll grab that. And I do want to make sure I'm stamping it so that it's like upright. There we go. Beautiful. And then that can get glued to the inside, and then we can stamp our envelope as well. All right. So take that. Now, I just realized I probably should have done my sentiment before I glued that in as well, because I was going to do my sentiment in embossed gold. So that was kind of silly. Let's stamp this on the front, and then we're going to have some fun doing some embossing with a piece that's already inside a card. Super silly. All right. So there's our azure. So there's my envelope all stamped. Just a cute little menorah in the corner. And now my inside, we are going to do Happy Hanukkah, and I would like the scripty Hanukkah, and then happy. It's nice and tiny. All right, so we're going to get both of those onto blocks, and then stamp them in Versamark. And then we will emboss that. All right. Light. So before I go ahead and emboss this, I am going to wipe it all down with my embossing buddy. There we go. Got my Versamark. I am going to stamp Hanukkah first and then my happy. It's going to be way easier to get it all centered and lined up. Way easier to line up the small word around the word you can't see. There we go. Let's hope that that was good. The other option you have is you could always emboss it and then stamp the happy, and then you actually would be able to see what was going on. Oops, I didn't get my whole H. Okay, now I'm just going to get a brush to sweep away some of the excess here. It's always a bit tricky when you've gone and put this into the card. Oops. All right, so now I have just a few stubborn little pieces. So this is where I like to take my Take Your Pick tool because I can't fit a big brush in there. I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool, and I usually don't even move them away. I just scooch them into, into where there's already some powder, so that it just becomes part of the image instead of trying to whisk it away. Okay. All right. There. Okay. So with that done, we are ready to heat that up, and then we have our beautiful Happy Hanukkah on the inside of our card. And there you go. So there's the inside of our card now, all done up with some gold and some blue, and then the front of our card. And it's just such a great layout. Literally, you can take any background, any DSP. So your background doesn't have to be DSP. It could be embossed, whatever you'd like. Any size circle here with an image and a sentiment. You could even put your sentiment right on your circle if it fits, and embellish it. And voila, you have a great card. Oh, thank you so much, Kim. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and that you guys will take the layout and play with it. I would love to see the cards that you create if you use this layout. And yeah, I hope you join along. And this week as well, with my global design project, we are actually we're posting cards that are all about reasons to celebrate. And so there's no sketch or anything. It's just any card that's about a celebration, whether that's New Year's or Christmas, a birthday, Hanukkah, whatever you'd like. And just creating cards for celebrating. So I'd love it if you could join us on the Global Designs Project and share a card with us. We love to put those into our stories and share them. So just tag us at Global Design Project. And yeah, can't wait to see what you guys create. Bye.